Do you know how many people have claimed to be God? How many human beings have asked the world to believe their claims of divinity? To receive them as if visiting from infinity, as if revealing from invisibility the mystery of secrets hidden from our mortal-minded simplicity. With the zeal of a missionary, these messengers have come to be a permanent fixture in the midst of me and you, our cultures, our societies. A great variety professing piety, they attract notoriety before they quietly slide away. There was George Baker, or Father Divine, celebrated in his time until his death knell chimed in 1965. There's been Andre Matsuura, Aung San Hong, then Sung Myung Moon and Hulon Mitchell came along. Victor Gomez said he'd rise from the dead in 1978, but the clock's still ticking. He seems a little late. There was Toth, Matayoshi and Bent. Mung Seok said he too was heaven sent. Quibeloy, David Icke and Imre Christo. Next up Koresh, Mitchell, and the list goes on to Torop Shayla and Devi Christos. AJ Miller says he's Jesus reincarnate. Jose Miranda's claim is exactly the same. That's either Jesus with a split personality issue, or else two guys with the same lies trying to trick you. Rael called himself the messenger of Elohim. But till I said his name just now, tell me, did you know him? If not, then what's with all the messages he says the gods show him? So, do you remember I asked you, do you know how many people have claimed to be God? Well, that's 21 human beings who have claimed to be a deity and somehow got their name to be in the media. And that's just from a page you see on Wikipedia. How many more did we never hear about?
Just now we only looked at the 20th century. If we roll back the clock, the list gets a lot more lengthy. You can find 13 more who said they were Jesus, and maybe they persuaded a handful of believers.
34 Jewish messiahs came and went, claimed they were sent with divine consent.
332 pharaohs who reigned over Egypt. 8 Roman rulers wrote imperial edicts saying they should be treated as gods, down here seated on temporary human thrones.
Then there's 157 emperors in Japan. Spread the search a bit wider out into China and you'll find there's another 557. But climb into heaven and I wonder, how many would you see?
Poets, presidents, priests, shamans, witch doctors, chiefs, the occasional downbeat walking the town streets. It's like in every different nation and human institution, men are demanding worship and dealing out supposedly divine retribution.
And maybe you'll hear all this and come to the conclusion that divine daydreams are decidedly human. Just predictable, fictional noise pollution.
But over all that white noise, there is this one voice you can still hear above the confusion. His words are heard in the heat of revolution, at the defeat of persecution, when men meet with destitution or plead for absolution, when they preach redistribution of wealth among the poor.
If you want to know why his voice rings out so loud, why he still gets heard above the crowd, it's not just the message he was preaching or the methods he was teaching, not his clever hidden meanings, but the many who believed him.
See, I challenge you to stop and think about what he did, this poor refugee kid. He told the world that he was God, but you see the difference is he made half the world believe it.
We've heard a lot of numbers here today. Now here's another 4. One man, 2,000 years later, 2 billion followers on 7 continents.
How many men have claimed to be God's son? Maybe that question's not quite the right one. How many sons of God have appeared as a man? Maybe there's only one up there who can.